You know, I used to think you were cool.
What the hell happened to Stryker? It seemed like only a few years ago we were all getting excited to see this new, interesting villain be explored more in Hell of a Boss, as not only was he a threatening and mysterious bounty hunter, but the fact he was being played by Norman Reedus was something that had a lot of potential to really bring fans a character to really get invested in. But where did it all go wrong? How did such an interesting new villain become completely wasted, with almost none of the intrigue that he originally had being left? Hey guys, it's the Pink King here, and today I'm going to be answering this very question I and many of you have had for a long while now. But before we begin, seeing as it's a new year, I think it's about time I got a new look. That's right, peeps. The king will be looking like this from now on. Let me know what you guys think of my new look, and hopefully you guys enjoy the new look. Now, to properly analyze where it all went wrong for Stryker, we need to talk about why he was so interesting in the first place. Being introduced in Season 1, Episode 5, Stryker immediately made himself an interesting character, as he was able to cunningly play the role of cool cowboy with a dark secret really well, as not only was he able to beat the imps, but was also smarter and calculated than any of the villains we'd seen before. And on top of that, he was also an imp working for a Goetia, and Stryker was almost a mirrored versions of the IMP team themselves, especially Blitzo. Both have a connection with Goetias, and both are highly trained assassins. But where one is trying to work with them, Stryker is trying to kill them. So already we have a good base for a villain. Villains who are reflections of the main characters are always some of the most interesting characters, as they allow us to see the different sides of the main characters that we are following. Sometimes it shows us something that we didn't know was there. One of my more recent favourite examples is Sonic in Shadow in Sonic 3. I felt that was a really good use of that method. Also, I cannot forget the fantastic performance put on by Norman Reedus, who really makes this role his own, adding that nice sense of calculated menace that really helped Stryker stand out among everyone else. So, from one episode alone, we already have a highly engaging and interesting villain that leaves plenty of room to be expanded upon in the future. But here is where it all went horribly wrong, as Stryker from this episode onwards is never the same again, as in the next few appearances it's almost like a completely different character has taken his place. Starting from his voice, as Norman Reedus is no longer playing him, but Edward Bosco has taken the reins. And honestly, I really like Edward. He's a good voice actor, but he's not a good fit for Stryker, as he lacks a lot of the calculated menace and instead just comes across as someone who's trying too hard to be threatening. Reedus knew the right amount of intimidation to add, as that intimidation factor came from its subtlety and how Stryker rarely loses his cool. But Edward Stryker is constantly losing his temper and is now just a character who's full of himself. Edwards tried his best with what he was given, but he simply could not replace Reedus. Which begs the question, why was Reedus even Stryker to begin with? Because he never returns due to his scheduling conflicts, and instead of waiting for him to be free again so you can organically introduce him back into the story, you just force another actor into a role and hurt the character doing so. But it's not like Vivzy Pop even cares about her actors either way. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, as Stryker just keeps going downhill throughout Season 2, as from Western Energy onwards, he just continues to decline, as we then see him working with Moxie's dad by capturing both Blitzo and Fizzaroli. For no real reason? Fizz is the only one who benefits Moxie's dad here, as he's the one who's got the ransom on him. But Blitzo, he holds no value in this scenario, so why not just kill him and get his revenge? This is where we see Stryker go from a once calculated genius to a moron, because if he had any of the brain cells from his first appearance, he would have just killed Blitzo here and gotten it over with. But no, he has to leave him with Fizz, only for them to inevitably escape. Whoop-de-doo. And let's not forget the ending of this episode, where instead of killing Fizz and Blitzo when he has the perfect opportunity, he instead monologues angrily, allowing the main characters to get the drop on him, where he then cowers away after being slightly burnt. Something he wouldn't have done earlier on. But possibly the biggest thing that's ruining Stryker is his menace. He's always working for someone else, whether it be Stella, Andrelphus, or Moxie's dad. He's always just a henchman and never his own villain like he was in the first episode. So, how can we be expected to take him seriously if the writers don't take him seriously? Because since his first appearance, all he's done is lose fights, time and time again, become dumber and dumber as each episode passes on, and become a second fiddle to every other antagonist in the show. To put it short, they Flanderized Stryker. They took all the intrigue that was there and left only the bare essentials, with the southern accent and shouting voice. That villain we all got excited to see is gone because the showrunners simply had no idea how to use his character. Evidently, with the poor decision to recast him and the horrible way he's written. Stryker, in my mind, is a character that could have easily been someone who left the audience on the edge of their seat. If they kept him calculated and intimidating, he would have been a fantastic villain, but in the end, he's ultimately just another character who becomes boring and just laughable, no longer his own individual threat, but now just someone else's minion every other episode. But what do you guys think? Do you guys agree on my sentiment that Stryker has become a bad villain, or do you think there's still hope for his character? Let me know what you think in the comments. I read all the guys' comments and I'm very interested to see what you have to say on this. And also, while you're at it, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Doing so not only helps me make these videos for you guys a lot faster, but also allows me to see whether or not you want me to make more videos like this in future. I've been wanting to cover a lot more of the Hell of a Boss characters and explain why they're so good or why they're so bad. And if you want to see more of these in-depth breakdowns on these characters, then be sure to like the video and subscribe. But with that, peeps, it's been the Pink King here. I hope you guys enjoy my new look, and I will see you all next time.